a lot of people haven't heard that story of what actually motivated you back in the day to get this started. And I think, as I've got to know you better and better, particularly since we've started working together, that still sticks at the back of my mind. And, I think, if you could just kind of summarize a little bit of that, because I think it's lovely that we see the output now, X number of years later. But there was a time when you were pretty much on your own with your laptop doing it. And I think to choose a path in life at a relatively young age, to do something like that takes real passion and drive. I just wanted you to share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to. Look, I didn't have the easiest starts in life. Left school with very few qualifications, and throughout my life, I've had opportunity presented to me, whether that's people or institutions, and spent a wonderful 10 years of my life working for a very exciting startup that became a scale-up in tech, which went from very few of us to 120 people. I became VP of marketing, sold the business in 2017, and so you go on a journey like that, and you do a lot of reflection, and then I kind of went on a kind of I guess a period of self-reflection, but also trying to find myself and find my place in the world. So I did a number of things. Actually, got a new job, and then kind of created an agency, and kind of the last part where I started to get a lot of my passion back was I created a new SaaS business in the brand advocacy space, and that was actually in this very building in Birmingham. So quite poetic that we're here today. As part of that, I found it really, really hard from a personal point of view to navigate the ecosystem, or actually even kind of realise that there was an ecosystem. And then I realised there was pockets of it, but really, really hard to navigate. But more importantly, I was like, it's hard to navigate for me as someone who spent 10 years in the kind of startup scale-up world and actually spent time in London and San Francisco. Then, wow, for someone that's actually kind of early on in their journey, who's smart, passionate, and actually got a great idea that they can take to market, would fail most people. And there was a number of other things that I had frustrations around. One of them was, as a region, we're humble, which is a great thing. Really good trait to have, but that holds us back in terms of being kind of really proud and loud and shouting about our success. So there was, again, a need for a platform to be able to do that. So realised that actually, if I didn't do it, no one else would. Typical curse of an entrepreneur, right? You spot a problem, the next minute you are fixing it without realising you're actually fixing it. So as the story goes, created Birmingham Tech Week one weekend with my laptop, built the website, roped a few early speakers in, and stuck it on LinkedIn, thinking nothing more. Wanted 500 people for that first one. This was in July 2019. Fast forward to October, 5,000 people. So go from, I think there's a need, to, oh my God, there's a need. And actually, the ecosystem has realised that it needs to come together around shared values and opportunity. At that point, and I've said this on record a number of times, I expected another organisation, institution to step forward and go, thank you very much, you've shown us a way, we'll take it from here. That never happened, so created Birmingham Tech as the kind of cluster lead for tech and digital. Pandemic happened, that was fun, so created an event and a body to drive forward, and actually spent the kind of next 9 to 12 months just kind of keeping stuff going. And tried lots of different things, did what any other startup would do. We ran an accelerator, we did a bit of intervention around digital skills, we helped signpost boot camps, lots of different things where we just was, making a difference, but in a very tactical way. And then I think kind of the coming of age was probably 2022 when we got the mandate from the combined authority and started to get a lot more strategic around, policy, the digital economy, the levers and drivers of economic growth within this particular domain. And I've kind of gone from strength to strength, I think, since then really. Obviously rebranded to TechWM Mids, not really looked back since. And I think kind of for me, the support now from the corporates within the ecosystem has really allowed us to work alongside the West Midlands Combined Authority, but also have enough independence to also kind of advise and recommend without conflict, which I think is a really, really healthy thing for the ecosystem.
Yeah, no, you need that balance. You talk about partnership a lot, but actually making it happen in reality, whatever scenario, is really, really quite difficult. But I think, on behalf of everybody, the patrons, sponsors, whoever, thank you for your brilliant idea back in 2019, because we sit here now.
Brilliant or crazy? Bit of both.
All entrepreneurs are crazy and brilliant, right? Or delusional, as they say. Yeah, but thank you for doing that, because I think wind the clock forward to 2024, and we started off with reflections of Tech Week. I saw it firsthand, and it was different this time. Normally, I was just a participant, but seeing it as being part of the team was a very different lens for me as well. But it feels like we're this sleeping giant. It feels like all the conditions are there. It feels like everybody's ready for that next stage of the journey. And then looking to TechWM to help them hold their hand in partnership to the next stage. So maybe now's a good time to kind of say, well, the delusional crazy idea 5-6 years ago, that was a great success. What's next?
Yeah, I think kind of it's for me a pivotal moment for the organisation, but also the ecosystem. I think we've got a newfound confidence in our ability to conceptualise ideas, strategise, and also kind of execute on that as well. And I think kind of for me personally, it's like moving from founder mode to CEO mode. And I think the organisation is also moving from startup mode to scale-up mode. I think a lot of people forget that, but we are a startup helping other startups, an ecosystem, government, private sector, corporates, and academia. And actually, that's not sustainable. And so I think my big thing now as a leader is to start to think about kind of what is the strategy for the organisation, not just in the short term, but in the long term. And actually, what are some of the innovative ideas which are really going to allow us to continue as that catalyst, but also realise our ambitions to get to 100 billion by 2030. And so, when Martin and I stood up on stage at the West Midlands Tech Review and announced that, we did it with a solid plan, but that plan needs to be met with investment. It needs to be met with execution. But I think we're now at that point where we can start to do that. So I'm really, really excited about what the next kind of 18 months to 24 months looks like for not just our organisation, but what it can really mean for the ecosystem, the community, the sector, and the economy.
And a lot of people, myself included, right? When you're on the outside, you don't always understand what's going on. When you come on the inside, you look at it a different way, you see things in a different way. And I know we've been working through the course of 24. What is it when you did Birmingham Tech Week last year? You clearly had some reflections. Clearly, you started doing things as a founder during 24. I think it's quite nice for you to maybe share some of those things that you've already started to do this year Let's call them the foundational building blocks for the next stage of the journey.
Yeah, I think that's really important. So I think for me, the team, it starts with the team.
Yeah.
And so we've got a bunch of rock stars. Anushka, who heads up marketing, Naomi, heads up head of community and collaboration, Kath, our wonderful chief operating officer, and Vicky, who's relatively new, but not new to the ecosystem, has been transformation of that digital skill space. So we've got people now that really get it and can kind of drive forward our mission and the mission of the ecosystem. To supplement that, we've also kind of had a lot of additions to the board. Obviously, you've come on board as chair, Jason. And I'd love actually for you to share, sort of your journey and why you joined, but also why we've chosen you, because I think you've kind of been on a journey yourself and I think contribute loads. And then the other board members as well. So we're not stopping there. I think kind of those foundational elements will only be built on from this point onwards. And then it's kind of making sure that we put the digital economy playbook in place. For me, that set out the framework of what a good digital economy looks like. And that's very complementary to the work we're doing with Combined Authority and other partners around the digital roadmap, which of course links into the plan for growth, which will evolve into the growth plan. So actually, I think as unlike other regions, we've already got a lot of the building blocks. But for me, the most important thing that we got right this year was the narrative. Making tech succeed in the most human of places, for me, is an elegant, beautiful narrative that sums up our region perfectly. And it's a call to arms for the ecosystem, it's a call to arms for everyone involved in the sector to buy into it, but also they contributed to it. So it wasn't done in isolation, they contributed to it, but also to kind of get behind some of the initiatives that will make that a reality. And the other part, around that narrative piece is actually then seeing the West Midlands Growth Company's narrative around it starts here, and that focus on technology and innovation. You've now got a really good kind of ecosystem narrative complementing a external international narrative. Having that in place together, I think, could be a really game changer for our region.
I think it was Wolverhampton, isn't it, when you did tech review.
Yes.
I remember watching the video. And I think what I liked about it was sometimes you talk about tech and people think software company. Sometimes you talk about tech and they think something else. But actually, we've got the largest number of STEM graduates anywhere in the country. We've got some of the country's and world's best universities on our doorstep. And what I liked about that video, and I encourage anybody to watch it if they haven't seen it already, is it brought all of those elements from R&D, automotive, so technologies like AI today are just prevalent everywhere, and it's our real opportunity to innovate. And being nominated for one of the best cities for innovation in Europe, and good luck, because I think you're in Portugal next week to pick that up. But I think it's bringing that cohesion, coupled with a vision of, okay, we want to be big. But I do agree with your point of this being too humble. I think one of my observations has been we need to show more ambition. What I liked about 100 billion was whether we get 90 or we get 110, I don't think is the measurement of success. It was the first time we showed intent and ambition as a region. And yes, should we blow our trumpet a bit more? Yes. But I think that comes with natural maturity of an ecosystem.